Hi everyone, Andy Ron with Montana Land Source with this week's video summary of the Montana Land Report. We put out the Montana Land Report every Wednesday, summarizing the past week in the Montana land market, the market activity in terms of sales and listings, and also news and events relative to the Montana land market. The land report is free. Go to mtlandsource.com to sign up for our free subscription if you are interested. In the past 7 days, we had 25 property updates, a little slower in the market compared to usual, but not untypical after the holiday weekend, the Thanksgiving holiday. We usually see a little bit of a lull after that weekend and going into December with often a little bit of a bump towards the end of the year as people are trying to wrap up transactions before the end of the calendar year. 25 property updates in the past 7 days, 3 properties back on the market. 6 new listings, 6 pending sales, 1 price change, and 4 sales. In news, the newest edition of the Land Investors Podcast is out. We interviewed Joel Silverman of Silverman Law. Joel is an estate and tax attorney here in Montana, and that podcast focuses on opportunity zones, which is an interesting topic and probably an underutilized opportunity program for land investment in Montana. So check out that podcast for information on that. Joel was a great guest. In other news, Montana State University put out some data on cash rents that we linked on our website and added a little bit of an analysis to. Basically, the summary of that data is that cash leases for ag lands in Montana have been stable or static when adjusted for inflation for over 20 years, hardly any change in rental rate, and contrasted that with land values and showing how agricultural income and land values in Montana have been decoupled for quite a while, and that trend continues. So check that out at mtlandsource.com. In upcoming events, there is a webinar coming up on 1031 exchanges. Max Hansen with Accruit. His outfit is putting that on. It's a free webinar on 1031s. And I guess the other things to talk about this week have had some interesting conversations on a couple topics. One is that there has been an uptick, it seems, in Montana with properties transacting but not on the open market. A lot more kind of neighbor to neighbor. And another thing we're seeing as well as is exclusive listings from brokers. So brokers listing properties but not fully putting them on the market, I guess you could say, or putting them on the market in a limited fashion towards an exclusive set. I guess that's all speaks to that we're in a seller's market and that sellers feel like they can sell their properties, get top prices without necessarily going on the open market. Some of those listings we have in Montana Land Source, some we can't share, unfortunately, because of non-disclosure status and brokers insisting on that exclusivity, but an interesting phenomenon to watch. And then another interesting topic is, historically, for years in Montana, unimproved properties or properties that were minimally improved or not over-improved tended to be the highest demand properties. Essentially when people buy properties with a lot of improvements, they don't necessarily want to buy the previous owner's vision, the previous owner's development of improvements, and especially high dollar properties, and especially properties with kind of a recreational component. Buyers of those type of properties typically maybe want to start with a blank slate, or just at least not have a lot of improvements that they're not so happy about and want to pay for. 2020 perhaps marks a big change in that with COVID and a lot of people looking to Montana land and looking to relocate or be able to stay on those properties immediately. So we've seen a big change in the demand for properties with improvements, and it'll be interesting to study that when we close out the year and look into 2021 and years coming forward, whether that changes or that trend continues. Another factor on that, we've seen that impacted in certain times and places where construction costs were up or it was difficult to get property improvements built. So that would drive demand for improved properties. But that's a substantial shift in the market. Like I started out saying, for years we've seen a trend where properties without improvements were in more demand. So we're seeing that turned on its head in 2020, like a lot of things. That's it for this week. Thank you for watching the video. Please like and please share. That helps get this video out and about. And everybody stay safe and have a great week. Thank you.